Tom Wrobleski, the political editor of the Staten Island Advance. We're here today with City Councilman Mike McMahon and activist David Jones talking a little presidential politics. Councilman, I'm going to start with something with Hillary's campaign. True or false, do you think, if Hillary needs to win the Texas primary and the Ohio primary next week in order for her campaign to go forward?
Well, I think, the expert on that has spoken. Bill Clinton has said that these two elections are very critical. Still very close in terms of the delegates, but there's certainly, she's going to have to put up the firewall. I think that's pretty evident as well.
What do you think, just one more question about that. What do you think happened to her campaign? If somebody, or if she sat you down and said, Councilman, tell me, what did I do wrong? Where did it go wrong for me?
Well, I think I think they adopted the campaign of experience, ready to lead, ready to take charge, almost because as a woman, she had to convince voters that she's a great candidate who happens to be a woman, and she didn't use the word change. She didn't, and yet she sort of embodied it. And I don't think what she didn't see coming was that Senator Obama brought a campaign that sort of went one or two steps further and said, look, there's even a greater change. I'm going to speak to that and embody it as well. I don't think she saw that coming, and I think except for the Obama people, no one saw it coming.
I think that she has fervently wanted to be president for this whole period of time, and that's clouded her judgment. Frankly, I think that that's what the problem is, that she's been focused on this one thing. So she's tried to make herself everything for everybody. She's a very smart lady, but in this particular instance, she miscalculated. It's like she wrote off Obama in the beginning, and I don't know how she could do that.
Why did Obama catch fire? What is it exactly that he tapped into, and how has he done it as a person who supports him?
I'd say that Obama had a less than traditional approach to it. He didn't make any assumptions. He assumed nothing, and he went forward with a very carefully organized campaign, and he spoke to a need that exists. People really are hungering for a change. I've heard people talk about Obama and taking the Obama Kool-Aid and that sort of thing, from the people who are on.
What do you tell people who if I come in and say, I don't get it about Obama, I'm listening to him, I don't get what am I missing?
I'd be the last person to be able to tell you what you're missing if you don't get it now. I think that I'd have to go back and say that Obama really represents hope for change, and that sounds ultra simplistic and whatnot, but it really is something that is completely different from Senator Clinton. Senator Clinton is inextricably bound up with the past. Her policies are not substantially different than her husband's policies. So what we're getting is that Hillary factor.
I would differ. I think that Hillary represents hope for change and inspiration to people who support her. Certainly to many women see her as expressing or standing for their hopes and dreams and aspirations. And so I think she represents that. What Obama has done, I think, Senator Obama has done, is that he's been able to motivate people who weren't motivated before and to bring in new people to the process. And I think that's something that has to be recognized as something very positive. And then, the question is, where does it all end up? We're not sure yet, but certainly there are some great things going on here in general for the Democratic Party.
I think that Obama is marketing to new people. That's a fact, no question about that. He's brought in people who otherwise would have stayed out of it. Hillary is not able to do that. I'm not being negative about her.
Yeah, no, and I'm agreeing with you, but she certainly represents something very strong and positive to people who support her. There's no question.
Her supporters, but her supporters are a particular demographic, and they're happy to go back to business as usual, things as they used to be.
Of women across this country are motivated by her campaign. I think that, listen, everyone's supporters are a demographic. Anyone who runs for office, they find their support in certain demographics. There's no question about it. But I think that she has done inspirational things and motivated people and brought out a lot of voters, and Senator Obama has inspired and motivated people and brought out a lot of voters, many of whom had been cynical towards the process and now come at it with a positive approach, and I give them bundles of credit for that.
If you want to hear more from this interview, check out my Politburo blog on SILive.com tomorrow.